Hello, my name is Pastor Kris Kollar. I'm the pastor of Pleasant Valley Lutheran Church near Malabar Farm State Park and St. Paul Lutheran Church in Lucas, Ohio. Greetings. We are reading through the Bible with commentary, and we are starting another book, 2nd Chronicles, although as we've said, Chronicles was originally one book, as was Kings and the book of Samuel. And then when they translated from Hebrew into Greek, ancient Hebrew into ancient Greek, then it became two scrolls. They needed more space to write the Greek. So we are now starting 2nd Chronicles, but it literally just picks up where we left off on 1st Chronicles, where we were reading about King David and about his son Solomon taking over from King David. And so that is where they broke it. But as we're reading through the book of Chronicles, Chronicles is concerned with proper worship of God, in particular of the temple, and how David established the temple and Solomon built it. So David made all the plans, made all the architecture, gathered all this material, and then Solomon is now going to build it. So today we're going to hear about Solomon getting established. Much of the material in Chronicles is the same things that were in Samuel and Kings, but different. So they leave out a lot of the things that are in Kings. In the book of Kings, we heard a lot of political intrigue and murders and rapes and all these terrible things. Much of that is not included in Chronicles because that is not the focus. It's not about the political intrigue so much as it is about the temple and the establishment of worship in the temple. Not to say that there's not still some of that in 2nd Chronicles, but the focus is just very different. The purpose of Chronicles is more to say, yes, we want to worship God properly. As they came back from exile, back from Babylon, they rebuilt a new temple, and this was part of this is where we've come from, this is our history, this is our past, and this is what we're going to go forward into. So 2nd Chronicles chapter 1, Solomon, son of David, established himself in his kingdom. The Lord his God was with him and made him exceedingly great. Solomon summoned all Israel, the commanders of the thousands and of the hundreds, the judges and the leaders of all Israel, the heads of families. Then Solomon and the whole assembly with him went to the high place that was at Gibeon, for God's tent of meeting, which Moses the servant of God had made in the wilderness, was there. But David had brought the ark of God up from Kiriath-jearim to the place that David had prepared for it, for he had pitched a tent for it in Jerusalem. So I think that's interesting. The ark had left the tent of meeting. The ark had ended up in Jerusalem in a new tent, and the tent of meeting is still at the old high place in Gibeon, and Solomon goes there to inquire of God, because probably that's where a bunch of the priests are as well. Verse 5, Moreover, the bronze altar that Bezalel, son of Uri, son of Hur, had made was there in front of the tabernacle of the Lord. So yes, not only are the priests still with the tabernacle, the tent, the Ark of the Covenant is not there, but the altar is there, and he can go and make sacrifices and meet the priests and meet the Lord. So that's what he does. He goes up to Gibeon. And Solomon and the assembly inquired at it. Verse 6, Solomon went up there to the bronze altar before the Lord, which was at the tent of meeting, and offered 1,000 burnt offerings on it. Verse 7, That night God appeared to Solomon and said to him, Ask what I should give you. Solomon said to God, You have shown great and steadfast love to my father David, and have made me succeed him as king. O Lord God, let your promise to my father David now be fulfilled, for you have made me king over a people as numerous as the dust of the earth. Give me now wisdom and knowledge to go out and come in before this people, for who can rule this great people of yours? So they skip quite a bit of the intrigue at the end of David's life and the beginning of Solomon's, but they include this that we heard about in the book of Kings, that Solomon goes, sacrifices, and then asks for wisdom is his request. Verse 11, God answered Solomon, Because this was in your heart, and you have not asked for possessions, wealth, honor, or the life of those who hate you, and have not even asked for a long life, but have asked for wisdom and knowledge for yourself, that you may rule my people over whom I have made you king, wisdom and knowledge are granted to you. I will also give you riches, possession, and honor, such as none of the kings who were before you, and none after you shall have the like. So Solomon came from the high place at Gibeon, from the tent of meeting, to Jerusalem, and he reigned over Israel. So in the book of Kings, we heard examples of his wisdom. We don't have those in the book of Chronicles, because the writer or writers of the book of Chronicles are far more interested in the temple, the establishment of the temple, and how it was run. But Solomon, when he became king, asked the Lord for wisdom. And the Lord said, yes, wisdom and all kinds of power and riches while you're at it. Verse 14, Solomon gathered together chariots and horses. He had 1,400 chariots and 12,000 horses, which he stationed in the chariot cities and with the king in Jerusalem. So obviously 12,000 horses, they're not all right there at his house. They're stationed all over the country. The king made silver and gold as common in Jerusalem as stone, and he made cedar as plentiful as the sycamore of the Shephelah. Solomon's horses were imported from Egypt and Kue. The king's traders received them from Kue at the prevailing price. They imported from Egypt and then exported a chariot for 600 shekels of silver and a horse for 150. So through them these were exported to all the kings of the Hittites and the kings of Aram. So Solomon's established as king. He's gotten a wisdom, and he's already starting to get lots of wealth. He's got lots of gold and silver and lots of horses, and he's buying and selling, it sounds like, the horses, which of course he would have had some kind of manager or managers who would help him to keep track of all those horses and to actually do the nitty-gritty of the work. But he was over top of all of it, and he's got alliances and trading agreements with the Hittites and the kings from the Arameans, the kings of Aram. Chapter 2. Solomon decided to build a temple for the name of the Lord and a royal palace for himself. He decided. He was also told by his father David to do it. Solomon conscripted 70,000 laborers and 80,000 stonecutters in the hill country, with 3,600 to oversee them. 70,000 laborers, 80,000 stonecutters, 3,600 people just to oversee all of the work. So there are a lot of people working on this project, thousands and thousands. Verse 3. Solomon sent word to King Huram of Tyre, once you dealt with my father David and sent him cedar to build himself a house to live in. I am now about to build a house for the name of the Lord my God, and dedicate it to him for offering fragrant incense before him, and for the regular offering of the rows of bread, and for the burnt offerings morning and evening, on the Sabbaths and on the new moons, and the appointed festivals of the Lord our God, as ordained forever to Israel. The house that I am about to build will be great, for our God is greater than other gods. But who is able to build him a house, since heaven, even highest heaven, cannot contain him? Who am I to build a house for him, except as a place to make offerings before him? So now send me an artisan skilled to work in gold, silver, bronze, and iron, and in purple, crimson, and blue fabrics, trained also in engraving, to join the skilled workers who are with me in Judah and Jerusalem, whom my father David provided. Send me also cedar, cypress, and algum timber from Lebanon, for I know that your servants are skilled in cutting Lebanon timber. My servants will work with your servants to prepare timber for me in abundance, for the house I am about to build will be great and wonderful. I will provide for your servants, those who cut the timber, 20,000 cores of crushed wheat, 20,000 cores of barley, 20,000 baths of wine, 20,000 baths of oil. And it doesn't tell me how much a bath is. It just says that it's a Hebrew unit of measure. Well, I think we could figure that out. But I don't know how big that is. Verse 11. Then King Huram of Tyre answered in a letter I thought it said chat. Like they weren't using chat back then. In a letter that he sent to Solomon. Because the Lord loves his people, he has made you king over them. Huram also said, Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, who made heaven and earth, who has given King David a wise son, endowed him with discretion and understanding, who will build a temple for the Lord and a royal palace for himself. Verse 13. I have dispatched Huram-Abi, a skilled artisan endowed with understanding, the son of one of the Danite women. His father is a Tyrian. He is trained to work in gold, silver, bronze, iron, stone, and wood, and in purple, blue, and crimson fabrics and fine linen, and to do all sorts of engraving and execute any design that may be assigned him, with your artisans, the artisans of my lord your father David. Now as for the wheat, barley, oil, and wine, of which my lord has spoken, let him send them to his servants. We will cut whatever timber you need from Lebanon, and bring it to you as rafts by sea to Joppa. You will take it up to Jerusalem. So they have an agreement. I need lots of timber, and he said that's fine, and your people can come work with my people, that's fine, and we will accept the price that you're offering of paying by all of this barley and wine, and what else was it? Barley, oil, and wine, and bring it around to Joppa, and they're going to transport a lot of it by the sea. So Lebanon is north of Israel. You need to go along the coast of the Mediterranean to get up there. So it's the simplest way is to come up and down the coast, along the coast of the Mediterranean, and then stop at Joppa to switch out rafts of wood for the goods that they are paying. Verse 17, Then Solomon took a census of all the aliens who were residing in the land of Israel. After the census that his father David had taken, there were found to be 153,600. 70,000 of them he assigned as laborers, 80,000 as wood stone cutters in the hill country, and 3,600 as overseers to make the people work, which is what we just read. They repeat the same information, which happens. A lot of what's in Chronicles, is repeated from what we read in Kings. So, application. What would you ask for if you could ask God for anything? Would you ask for long life or riches? Because that sounds good to me. Or would we ask for wisdom? And what is wisdom? Because later on, Solomon is going to have all these wives, and he's going to be worshiping other gods, which doesn't sound very wise to me. But wisdom also includes administrative ability to manage the kingdom, to know about plants and animals and be educated, is also a form of wisdom. God does love it when we have requests for him that benefit other people. So as a young man, Solomon is like, oh, this is a lot of people. I need wisdom in order to do this properly. I'm going to need some wisdom. And God appreciated that his desire was to serve and govern the people and to do it well. And so he granted his desire for wisdom and also made him crazy rich. I love the idea of being rich, but I think that being rich often does ruin, or can at least ruin people. It can distract you from your need for God. And the poorer I am, the more I realize how much I need God. And when things are going better and my bank account is not as tight, then it's easy for me to forget to turn to God. Let's see if there's anything else we want to pull out of this passage. They left out all of the bloodbath. I mean, there was just a lot of deaths. At that transition from David to Solomon was not as smooth as it is portrayed in the book of Chronicles. So, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord look at you with favor and give you peace. like, subscribe, comment. Thank you so much for being here. We will see you next time. Take care.